How do you treat a player who joined your academy at 6 years old, spent 20 years wearing your badge, and helped win not one, but 2 Premier League titles after a 30-year drought, who helped you conquer a Champions League, an FA Cup, 2 League Cups, a Super Cup, a Club World Cup? How do you treat that player when he finally decides it's time for a new challenge? You boo him. In fact, you boo him so hard that you force his current manager, his former manager, and even legends of the game to call you out and defend him. Or at least that's how some Liverpool fans saw it. But regardless of which side you're on in all this chaos, we all have to admit that when a player gets this much attention, it's usually because he's different. And Trent Alexander-Arnold is exactly that. When most people think of Trent, 2 things come to mind: a fullback with world-class passing, and a reputation as a defensive liability. But when you look beyond the surface narratives, what you find is actually one of the most unique statistical profiles in modern football. Far from just being your typical right back who can cover ground and cross the ball, Trent offers a rare blend of creator, progressor, and defender that is almost impossible to find in his position. And it's this unusual combination of skills that have turned him into a central piece of Liverpool's success over the past 8 seasons. If we look at his numbers this year, it's obvious he's statistically elite in almost every passing metric available, ranking in the 99th percentile among fullbacks for progressive passes, switches, and passes into the final third. These are the actions that allow a team to control possession and break through defensive structures, especially during slower, more deliberate phases of play. Arnold clearly possesses a strong understanding of the game, allowing him to anticipate plays and distribute the ball effectively. And while he might not be the fastest player, his quickness and astute dribbling ability enable him to slither out of tight spaces and beat players to gain yards for his team. But that's not all. He also ranked in the 99th percentile for through balls, long passes attempted and completed, and progressive passing distance, totaling over 400 yards of forward passing per 90 minutes. Numbers worthy of an NFL quarterback. And that's no coincidence. Trent has one of the most refined passing techniques of any current player, and not just defenders. He can comfortably bend the ball with the inside of the foot like Beckham, or disguise the delivery with the outside like Modric, hitting runners in stride, threading passes into tight pockets, or switching play across the entire width of the pitch. Far more than just recycling possession, he's constantly looking to break pressure, attack space, and shift the game forward. And it's this kind of high-level progression paired with his elite vision that will help him fit in naturally at Real Madrid, a point that we will be breaking down later in the video. But his impact goes far beyond simply advancing the ball. This season he ranked in the 96th percentile for shot creating actions, 95th for expected assists, 93rd for key passes, and 95th for non-penalty expected goals plus assists, all of which are metrics which reflect end product. And it tracks with what we've seen for years. Trent already holds the record for most assists by a defender in Premier League history with 64, and he sits just behind Leighton Baines for total goal involvements. That's a staggering output, but it goes even deeper. Since his debut in 2016, Trent ranks first among Premier League players for passes into the box and successful crosses, and he ranks 4th for assists and chances created. The only players ahead of him in those last 2 categories: De Bruyne, Salah, Son, and Bruno Fernandes. He isn't just elite for a defender, he's outproducing top midfielders and wingers. Oh, and real quick guys, if you're into football shirts and you want to rep your club or discover a new one, check out our friends at MrShirt.com. They have mystery kits from all over the world, and if you use our link in the description, you'll get 10% off your next shirt. It helps support the channel, and you might just end up with something special. Now back to the video. That level of versatility has come through years of tactical evolution, from overlapping fullback in Klopp's early setup to a more central, inverted role in Liverpool's later systems. Few players in the world have adapted that often while continuing to produce at such a high level. And we still haven't even touched on the set piece layer, in which he ranks in the 95th percentile for shots from free kicks, and where his corners have consistently been one of Liverpool's most dangerous weapons. So when you put it all together, the progression, chance creation, set piece threat, and a decade of elite output, you're not just looking at a great right back. You're looking at one of the most productive attacking players in the Premier League era who just happens to play in defense. But if you've made it this far, there's a good chance a question is still lingering in the back of your mind. Can he actually defend though? That's the critique that has followed him for years, and it's not entirely without basis. Trent is definitely not an elite 1v1 stopper. He's not dominant in the air, and when isolated, he can be beaten. He's not a traditional defensive specialist, and no one's pretending that he is. But when you dig a little deeper and actually zoom out to the bigger picture, the data tells a more complex story. Despite the repeated criticism, last season Trent still ranked in the 90th percentile for tackles won, 91st in tackles in the defensive third, 83rd for ball recoveries, and 75th for interceptions when compared to all other fullbacks in Europe's top 5 leagues. Those might not be elite numbers, but they're very comfortably above average. And although he has definitely been exposed at times, the context also matters. Liverpool's system under Klopp wasn't built to protect defenders, it pushed them to the limit. The team operated with one of the highest defensive lines in Europe, often leaving fullbacks isolated in transition while relying on counter-pressing to smother danger before it developed. Trent wasn't just asked to defend, he was tasked with progressing the ball, dominating the right channel, and dictating tempo, all while playing in one of the most tactically demanding environments in football. He's not perfect, but the idea that he can't defend just doesn't hold up under scrutiny. He holds his own, and more often than not, he's doing it while carrying a heavier creative load than almost anyone else in his position. And that's exactly why Real Madrid came calling, because they're not looking for a pure fullback. They're looking for a connector, a pressure breaker. With the retirement of Toni Kroos, Real Madrid lost one of their most reliable sources of control, a player who could manage tempo, switch the point of attack, and turn high difficulty passes into routine actions. The German is one of a kind, but Trent is the only player in world football who comes close to matching both his volume and efficiency when it comes to long-range passing. While they obviously don't share the same profile, they do serve a similar function. Both are distributors who can break pressure and reorganize the pitch with a single pass. And for a Madrid side adjusting to life without Kroos, Trent offers continuity, just from a different zone and with a very different set of tools. Under Xabi Alonso, Trent isn't just getting a fresh start. He'll likely be stepping into a system that plays directly into his strengths. Whether it's a 4-3-3 or Alonso's preferred 3-5-2, Trent's role will be clear: control, progression, and final product. In a back four, he'll have Tchouaméni sweeping, Valverde covering ground, and Rudiger, Militao, or Huijsen locking down space. But in a three-man back line, as a right wing back, he'll get the freedom to push high, create overloads, and pick out runners in stride. There's also a possibility that he'll feature centrally, as a deep-lying playmaker, taking the ball off the center backs, scanning the pitch, and setting the rhythm. It's not about replacing Kroos, it's about reimagining the role with more risk, more progression, and more verticality. And when even the greatest right back in football history is calling you the perfect player for Real Madrid, you know you're something special. At 25 years old, with over 350 appearances and 8 major trophies behind him, he's no longer the kid from West Derby trying to make it at his boyhood club. He's the next big piece at the biggest club in the world. And whatever system Alonso ends up using, Trent won't just be fitting in. He might just be the key to its success. As always, thank you for watching, guys. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the video and subscribe for more content just like this.